Greetings, and we are station WDWL TV with a beta test of Studio C. Yes, this is the new Studio C, folks. And I have no idea as to how the intro music sounds because we're also doing a beta test with a brand new tablet, which I just got. So I'm not sure if the intro music worked, but I have to show you. This was gifted by a friend who heard, me complaining that the other tablet is slowly taking a shit. And, whoop, he sent me, let's see, which way? This way. A Panasonic X Police Tough Pad. Yes, this is an X. Look at the thickness of that. This thing weighs like 7 pounds. I got it upside down. All right, let's try. All right, I got to back out a little bit. There we go. A Panasonic Tough Pad. Decommissioned police issue. Yes, decommissioned police. I was amazed when this arrived. I didn't know it was coming. And there was a neat little note inside that basically said, we hope you get a lot of good use because it got a lot of use with the police department it came from. And I'll tell you what, the amazing thing is, it looks like brand new. And let me do a little disconnecting here. It came with the hand holder, and this is a 360 swivel hand holder. And it has a touch pen stylus that very neatly, if I can get it in here, hang on, I'm just getting used to this thing. It just pops in. It stores right there. You can use it at finger touch, or you can use it with the stylus. I'm getting used to all the features. But there it is, a Panasonic Tough Pad. And it is tough, believe me. Like I say, this thing has got to weigh easily 6 pounds, if not more. It was used by a law enforcement agency, we'll just say out west, because I don't know if I can actually give the agency, and I don't want to, although I wouldn't be getting anyone in trouble because it was decommissioned and purchased at a police auction. So, and then his son was gracious enough to have it installed with Windows 10 Pro, because when they wipe them, they clear everything out of them. They have no operating system. So I am quite grateful for the neat gift. So what I have to do is download the manual and learn how to completely operate it, because to me it did not sound like the intro music was very loud. And I thought I had the volume at 100%, but evidently not. Yes, folks, this is the beta test. Beta test of the Tough Pad hooked into the system and of the new studio. So on Faceplant, let me know what you think. If I get my head out of the way here, breaking live. Yes. Studio C is going to be the new segment called The Grumpy Report, minus Vulture. No, there will be no Vulture in Studio C. Me and management already had that discussion. It was like, no, he's in Studio A, he's in Studio B. This is my studio. Studio C. The Grumpy Report. That's also the beta name. We're not sure yet if that's the name that's going to stick. Have to clear it with, management up front. But looking at this, it's definitely, how would you say, a champagne studio and a beer guest, a beer host, or the old holy sock and the brand new Italian loafer. But it is cool. I like the new design. It actually looks like a studio. And we are working on trying to go to a 2-camera system. They experimented today. They didn't have much luck, because over here to my left, I have another monitor, and I have been running a U.S. time zone map, and it's neat because it goes through all the time zones all the way out to Hawaii, and each one ticks down. But like Eastern Standard Time is 7 o'clock, then 6 o'clock, then 5 o'clock, then 4 o'clock. And it's cool because the map is divided in colored segments. We're trying to get a second camera so that basically it would show like up here, a little square box up here with the U.S. time zones. they had the two cameras set up, but we couldn't get them to work in tandem. It was either the time zone or it was the studio. So that's why I'm saying this is a beta test, because we are attempting to get everything synchronized. And hopefully the volume is okay on this microphone. That was the one thing I didn't test when I moved it over here to Studio C. I might have hit the controls, screwed the volume up. On Prism, it's staying in the green. It's not going into the yellow or the red. I have discovered that doesn't mean shit, because there's time when it's in the green and it's blowing everybody's eardrums out. But I would like some comments on my faceplant page as to what you think of the new studio. I think it's cool. I really do. I did not choose this design. I wouldn't have gone with breaking news. I would have just gone with news. But, hey, not my money. The only problem is, my big head is in the way here. Breaking V. Breaking V. Or breaking live. Or breaking Lee. I know. You're corny, Grumpy. Cut the shit out. And a new on-air sign. Brand new. That was a gift, too. I have wonderful friends and subscribers, because that arrived the other day and I was like, oh, we've got to put that in the new studio. I have to do some adjusting because the microphone is white and the on-air is red. Everything kind of looks red to me, but the microphone here is white. It's kind of cool. A little crooked, like Grumpy, but yeah, the gift of the on-air sign and the gift of the neat Panasonic Tough Pad. Yeah, the Panasonic Tough Pad. Model Frank Zebra Golf 1. I don't know if I can't remember my military alphabet. I don't know if F is Frank. Let me look. I just happen to have a cheater slip. Oh. Foxtrot. God, how could I forget that? So we have Foxtrot Zulu Golf 1. Foxtrot Zulu Golf 1. Panasonic Tough Pad. And it's got to be tough by what it weighs. The case is all, as they say across the pond, aluminium. Yeah, it has an aluminium case. I just knocked everything over. Screwed up the console. Knocked everything over. I should know better than to try to do things during airtime. Come on, get in there. Knocked over all my accessories here. Ah, making a big mess. Oh! Come on. Everything's like dominoes here. One item falls over, everything falls over. All right, come on. Hang with me, folks. If I don't put this stuff back, I'll forget where it all belongs. God, I made a mess. Typical grumpy. Make a mess, screw everything up. Screw up the studio already. Yeah, the guys from maintenance haven't cleaned up all their bolts, nuts, and screws, although there's still items they're working on, so I will forgive them for leaving bolts, nuts, and screws here that I just knocked all over the place. Oh! All right. Gee, how many bolts, nuts, and screws do these guys have sitting out here? Okay. There we go. Everything's back to normal. The only thing that's back to normal, definitely not grumpy. But yeah, this, I would tend to think, as undamaged as this thing is, because every corner on this is like brand new, no scuffs. And then dumbass me, I wasn't paying attention, and I set a sharp object on it, and I put a little, you can't see it, I put a little scratch in the damn screen. I'm going to have to get a screen protector for it. Yeah, pissed me off. But that's the only scratch on it. There's no bruises, abrasions. All four corners are like brand new. Must have been used by a supervisor. Because I can't see this thing being out on the street, 24/7. But this is basically the way police work has gone, folks. No more handwritten, well, this doesn't do away with all the handwritten reports. But now, when they go to a call, everything goes on the, from what I'm told, this goes in a dock in the car. And the call is preloaded into it. And then there'll be a report sheet that they fill out on here. But the call will be preloaded with the call number, the address, the parties. But that's although everywhere you go into a hospital, the doctor comes in with his pad. When my internet went down, the service guy come in with his pad. Nobody, no tool belts, none of that. Nope. He comes in with his pad, plugs it into my modem, and punched a few buttons and went, all fixed. Yeah. And now, the hospital that I'm connected with for my health care, they're not using these yet. But they are at the Cleveland Clinic. Doctor comes in with his pad. No more, clipboard. Yeah, everything. That's what we're going to. Technology. Of course, they're not using these monsters in the hospitals. No, they're using like iPads, not these things. This thing hurt my arm. It weighs at least 6 pounds. This aluminum case, but cool. Yeah, it was decommissioned and then offered for auction. And the strange thing was, I called my buddy, and I said, the officers didn't get first shot at these? He went, no. They were taken out of service, wiped clean, and sold at auction, no operating system. And he had to go to the auction and actually, well, the way it worked, I think they had 200 of these. And whatever the high bid was, that was what they sold for. You could buy 1 for that price, 10 for that price, 50 for that price. So they started the auction, and, I don't know what they got up to. I think $75, $80, because once the auctioneer made the announcement that whatever the high bid would be, that would be the price per tough pad. So my buddy's son said everybody in the crowd was like, keep the bidding down, keep the bidding down. And I think they went for $72 or $75 a piece. But, of course, you had to have an operating system put in them. They were totally blank. Everything was wiped. The hard drives were cleaned. And believe me, there ain't nothing in that thing except Windows 10 Pro. No juicy police reports or anything. No, wiped clean. But $75 for something like that? Oh. I was looking at used tablets, and I couldn't find anything under $100 that was worth anything. That was why, now my LG will remain in service for as long as it lasts. I'm not giving that thing up. It's just getting extremely slow. My computer guy told me I can't do anything with it. It's age, 16 years old. Matter of fact, he was amazed. He goes, God, these things usually don't last that long. Although I do take excellent care of my tablet and my laptop and my netbook. That's another thing that's about 14, 15 years old. My Gateway netbook. Remember Gateway? They had the boxes that looked like cows. They were black and white, patterned like a cow. Yeah, Gateway. I can't remember who bought them out. They didn't last long. There was a gateway out in North Olmsted on Lorraine Road, close to uh, where Lorraine and Brook Park come together. Right close to the Chrysler Dodge Ram Fiat, whatever dealership. Yeah, it was on the, if you were going out towards Great Northern Shopping Center on Lorraine, it was on the left-hand side. Because I had actually looked at a Gateway computer, and I don't know why I decided against it. The guy gave me a good deal. Can't remember why God, I was out to that place like 4 times. Specking out computer, and every time I came out, I added something to it. And I had a pretty dynamite unit spec'd out, and I don't know why I didn't go out there and buy it. The guy gave me a hell of a price. And then when the store closed up, my buddy went out there and he bought 4 or 6 of the netbooks. I'll bring it in the studio. Basically a miniature laptop. Cute little thing. And he asked me if I wanted one. And at first I said no, because I didn't know what a netbook was. And then he showed it to me and I went, oh, it's cute. I'll take one. And I bought it for the cuteness. It's a little hard on the eyes because it's got a small screen. It's basically it's about that big. You know, when you open it up, that's about it right there. A little netbook. You could almost put it in your pocket. Well, not really. What I used to do, I download Amazon ebook, which, believe me, I didn't. When I'm reading a book, I want a book. I order hardcover. I want a book in my hand. I like print. Well, when I got the netbook, I downloaded 2 or 3 ebooks. And when I go to the doctor, I would take my netbook and do my reading. But they're very hard on the eyes. Plus, like I say, I like a book. Same thing. You know, you can get magazines 2 ways. You can get a magazine, or you can get an e-zine, an electronic magazine. First of all, I'm old school. I want paper in my hand. Second of all, I want to keep the print shop busy. You know, we're putting enough people out of work. So I order. Matter of fact, I used to get 4 different auto magazines. And when the subscription would come to an end, you know, they send you the bill. $69 a year. What? Well, when they see that you haven't resubscribed, then you get the year for $10 or $12. so you can see what the markup is. And then I would resubscribe to the magazine. Well, I guess they didn't like doing that because as the 4 subscriptions expired, I didn't get none of them bargains anymore. So they lost a customer because I was subscribing to 4 different automotive magazines. Now I get Reader's Undigested. You talk about shock. Now, I got Reader's Digest back in the 90s and up until like the mid-2000s. When that sucker was like 300 to 350 pages. When I got my first issue of the new Reader's Digest, I was like, where's the magazine? It's like 100 pages. That's it. Little skinny ass thing. I got it as a gift for my birthday last year. And I got a notice about the second week of October that the subscription was coming up for renewal. Nothing works today. What's the matter with this thing? Every time I fill it, it acts up. So, I get a renewal, okay, for Reader's Digest. $65 a year. I almost fell over. $65 for a year. And you only get 9 issues. You don't get 12. So I was like, hey, the hell with it. Well, the last week of October, they could see I haven't renewed. You know, they're like, uh-oh, we're going to lose Grumpy. So I get an email, and it's from Reader's Digest. And it says, we see you have not renewed your subscription. We're going to give you a special offer. Renewal, $10. I was like, oh, okay. Then it said, the better deal. 2 years for $15. I was like, holy yachafuck. 2 years for $15? Okay. Here's my credit card number. They don't make money on the subscribers. They make their money on the advertisers. And I'll tell you what, there is a shitload of advertisement in that Reader's Digest. But if it wasn't for those advertisers, you wouldn't be getting the offer like I got, $10 or $15. No. They couldn't afford it. So they're keeping their fingers crossed that somebody will screw up and pay the $65. Not Grumpy. Because I know sooner or later that big discount is going to be before the actual expiration date of the magazine. So, 2 years, $15, Grumpy bought it. So, all you advertisers, thank you. I bet they're paying up the ass for ads in that magazine. I would almost guarantee it. But I'll tell you what, they're loyal, because it seems year after year the same advertisers keep advertising in Reader's Digest because they know old farts like me read it. You ain't going to see some millennial with a Reader's Digest. No. You're going to see people 60 and older with a Reader's Digest. Same thing, Consumer Reports. You're not going to see no 20, 25-year-old subscribing to Consumer Reports. Now, I'm not saying 100% won't, but that's not going to be the reading material that, a younger generation is going to read. It's more seniors. And I'll tell you what, I don't trust Consumer Reports 100%, because where on a few items they gave it like a glowing 5-star rating, I purchased an item and it was crap. So I tend to think there's a little money in that rating. Like, oh, if you give us a 5-star rating, we'll kick you an extra 10 grand, Yeah, Consumer Reports used to be non-biased. Not anymore. I don't believe in 50% of what they write. Another reason I don't subscribe anymore. Well, 2 reasons. One, there's a little shady shit going on. And for 2, I didn't get that big discount to renew. So, there they went. But, hey, to each his own, If you are a loyal subscriber to Consumer Reports, hey, God love you. Not everybody looks at a report the same way. So, a lot of people believe in it. I have a friend, before he buys a new car, he waits until they come out with the auto review edition, and then he makes his decision. Not me. Because who knows how much Ford or GM or Kia, or Toyota are paying them on the side for a good review of their car. The only time I believed the car reviews was when a dear friend of mine was an auto reviewer. Oh, God, she went back to the 70s. Matter of fact, she was one of the few women in the business. And women got shunned back then. Like, oh, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Well, it was amazing that she went from the 70s up to the 2000s and did car reviews. So evidently she knew what she was talking about. And then she finally retired. And that's when another reason I stopped getting Consumer Reports. Because she would do a monthly review on a car before they did their big review. And I used to like read them. Although a lot of people didn't like the way she wrote. She was a little corny at times. But, you know, she broke into the industry back in the 70s when it was almost an impossibility for a woman to get into the automotive review business and survive. And she did. Because she gave an honest review. She wasn't influenced. And I like the way she wrote. I miss her. I really do. Every now and then I'll email her and say, gee, Linda, I wish you would start writing car reviews again. But she's in a completely different line of work now, so hey, she made it. All those years. She started 70, 71, when it was extremely tough for a woman to get into the business. It was, first of all, a male-dominated business. And second of all, everybody was like, women don't know nothing about cars. Well, she did. She was changing oil and spark plugs when she was 14 years old. She knew her way around a car. And lasted up until, I want to say 2010 maybe? Something like that. So you go from 1970 or 71 to 2010 doing car reviews for big name magazines. You know, she worked for all of the big ones. So, you know, Auto Week and I don't think she worked for Hot Rod magazine, but all the major car magazines. I don't know if she worked for Automobile. I don't think so. But Auto Week, Motor Trend. By then, you know, she was respected in the industry. But I'll tell you what. Back in the 70s, they gave her hell. That girl had to fight tooth and nail to you know, be believed that she knew what she was talking about. And I'll tell you what, she beat the shit out of some of them test cars. Oh, yeah. She'd get out on the test track, and when she said, you know, that it was sloppy in the turns, or, you know, the suspension was weak, she proved it. She was like a NASCAR driver out on them test tracks with them cars. And I give her a lot of credit. But I miss her writing. I really do. So, I would appreciate your review of Studio C. What you think? I've got somewhat the dim light on today. I'll brighten it up tomorrow because I'll do another broadcast from here and I'll really show you what the backdrop looks like. You really can't see all the details, but I think it's cool. Although I would have gone with just news rather than breaking live. And we're not sure whether the Grumpy Report is going to stick. We're still kicking around some names. And with that, I think I will officially sign off from my first beta test of Studio C. And I will chat with you from Studio C tomorrow. See ya.